He sat down to say goodbye, but the dog's reaction shattered him. For years, Tom and Max had been inseparable, a bond like no other, built on quiet mornings, long walks, and the simple comfort of each other's presence. Max, a large German Shepherd, was more than just a pet. He was Tom's companion, his confidant, and his closest friend. Through every high and every low, Max was always there, tail wagging in approval or resting his head on Tom's knee during times of silence. Their connection was undeniable, one that spoke volumes without a single word exchanged. But now, Tom was faced with something he had dreaded for months, saying goodbye to his best friend. It wasn't a decision made lightly, but after Max's sudden health decline, Tom knew it was time. He sat down on the floor beside Max's bed, his heart pounding. Tears blurred his vision as he ran a hand through Max's fur, feeling the warmth and the familiar comfort he had come to rely on for years. The vet had given him the grim news. Max's time was running out, and there was no way to prevent it. Tom had done everything to keep his loyal friend healthy, but sometimes there's nothing more you can do. It was time for Max to rest. Tom's fingers trembled as he stroked Max's fur. The room was quiet, the kind of silence that hung thick in the air, filled with unspoken words. The weight of the moment pressed down on him, and every breath felt harder than the last. He had promised himself he wouldn't cry, that he would stay strong for Max. But as he gazed down into the dog's eyes, his resolve faltered. Max had always been there for him, never asking for anything in return, and now it was Tom's turn to be there for him, even if it meant letting go. Max's large, dark eyes locked onto his, full of love and loyalty. It was as if he understood, as if he knew this was the final moment they would share. The dog's tail gave a slow wag, a soft gesture that still carried so much meaning. Tom choked back a sob, feeling his heart break into 1,000 pieces. The man leaned forward, pressing his forehead against Max's. "I love you, buddy," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "You've been the best friend anyone could ask for." Max whined softly, as if responding, nudging his head against Tom's chest. A small whimper escaped his throat. Tom's eyes closed as he took in the familiar scent of his dog's fur, the comfort he had come to rely on. This moment, more than anything else, felt like it would last forever, even though he knew it couldn't. Every second felt like it stretched on endlessly. Tom wasn't sure how long he sat there, but it was as if time had stopped. As Tom sat there, holding Max close, his emotions overwhelmed him. He wasn't sure how to say goodbye, how to let go of the dog who had been with him through everything. He placed his hand gently on Max's chest, feeling the steady rise and fall of his breaths, each one reminding him of the years they had spent together. Tom took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. "It's okay, Max," he whispered, more to himself than the dog. "You've been such a good boy. It's time to rest now." But as he said those words, something strange happened. Max, who had been calm and quiet, suddenly lifted his head. His ears perked up, and he let out a soft whine, his eyes wide and focused on Tom. Tom froze. The air around them seemed to shift, and a knot tightened in his stomach. Max's usual calmness was replaced by a level of anxiety, something he had never seen before. The dog whined again, louder this time, and his tail began to wag, but it was frantic, almost desperate. Max stood up shakily, his legs unsteady as he moved closer to Tom. He nuzzled Tom's face with his nose, pushing against him as if trying to comfort him. But there was more, something different in the way Max was reacting, something that Tom couldn't quite explain. Max's behavior was erratic, and the desperation in his eyes was palpable. Tom pulled back, staring at his dog in confusion. "What's wrong, Max?" he asked softly, but Max didn't respond with his usual calm affection. Instead, he barked sharply, a sound filled with urgency, something deep in his gut that didn't belong in this moment. Tom's heart raced. Something was happening, something Tom couldn't quite grasp, but it was clear that Max was trying to communicate in a way that he never had before. This wasn't just the end. It was something more. Tom's heart skipped a beat as he watched Max's frantic movements. The dog, usually calm and composed, was now acting with an urgency that made Tom uneasy. His instincts, honed over the years of being Max's best friend, told him this wasn't just about saying goodbye. There was something more, something Max was trying to communicate that Tom couldn't yet understand. Max growled low, the sound vibrating through the room. He stood in front of Tom, his gaze unrelenting, his body tense with nervous energy. It was as if Max was trying to warn him, begging him not to do what he was about to do. The idea hit Tom like a sudden wave, crashing into him with force. What if Max knew something he didn't? What if saying goodbye now was the wrong decision? Tom's mind raced, the words echoing in his thoughts. Was this a plea for help, a final message from a dog who had always been there for him? Could it be that Max knew something was wrong? Something beyond the vet's prognosis? The pain in Tom's chest grew heavier. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was making a mistake, that there was more to this moment than he had realized. Max continued to paw at Tom, whining louder. Now, it was as if the dog was telling him not to leave, not to let go just yet. The weight of the moment hit Tom like a punch to the gut, and suddenly, he wasn't sure if he was ready to say goodbye after all. Tom stood up, his mind racing with questions. The confusion and panic that had settled over him now felt unbearable. Max, still whimpering and pawing at him, refused to settle down. Tom took a step back, unsure of what to do. His heart was torn. He had made the decision to say goodbye, to let Max go, but now, seeing his dog in such distress, Tom wondered if he was making the worst decision of his life. "Max, what is it?" Tom whispered, his voice shaking. The dog's pleading eyes met his, full of a silent, desperate understanding. It was as if Max was trying to tell him something that Tom couldn't fully grasp. The sudden surge of doubt made Tom's knees buckle. Was he being selfish, clinging to his dog for his own comfort? Or was Max truly trying to tell him something wasn't right? Just then, Max let out one final, heart-wrenching whine before collapsing gently onto the floor. Tom's breath hitched in his throat as he rushed to his side. This moment, once filled with resolve, had now turned into sheer panic. Was Max okay? Was this really the end? But as Tom cradled Max's head in his lap, something unexpected happened. A faint, familiar movement under the dog's skin. Tom's heart skipped. Could it be?